a lovely day as always, and it is Prime Woman on NTA. You know, one thing I have always believed, and I know it is true, no development is full, no nation functions fully until the woman is fully inculcated in the process. And time without number, Nigerian women have proven the fact that if you count them out, then you are setting yourself up for failure. My guest today is such a person who has a whole lot to offer to Nigerians in politics, in economics, in religion, in a whole lot of other things. But then, who is his personality? Take a peep. Now you met her a little bit, so it's time to have that full talk with my guest. Thank you for coming on the show. It's your house, but it's my studio. Hello. Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, it's always a pleasure, really.
Yes.
I first ran into you, so to speak, virtually speaking, in 2018, when you were vying for presidential, vice presidential post, for your party. I hoped I learned that it would work out, but somehow it didn't work out. Again, in 2023, just the last one, you actually stayed in your state as a gubernatorial candidate. At the point, the very first actually, there were actually 17 people, and you were one of the 17, and you were the only female.
Yes.
How
The first time ever.
The first time ever a woman attempted it. What gave you the push? You know how we say on they share face.
Don't be sad they fear face.
Ah, okay.
I don't even know how I get. I carry leg good here. But the truth is, I never ever planned to be in politics. I was very, very comfortable in my space. I used to love to be a wall hanger. Yes. Wow. I didn't want too much publicity.
Wow.
I loved to stay at the background.
What is everyone? How did you leave the wall?
Somebody told me a long time ago when I started SI magazine that you can't be a wall hanger, madam, if you're doing the work that you're doing, the kinds of work you're doing. You can't stay too long on the work. You have to get off the work. My journey out had awoken that drive for me to do more. So how I got into politics was I was on my bed when I was called from Lagos. One of my colleagues in law school, she told me that around 11 p.m., she said, Khadijah, do you know Fela Durotoi? And I said, yes. What about him? You know that time we had this BlackBerry, and then
that Bold 5, Bold 10.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah.
So
you don't have his BlackBerry, they call it BP.
I still have my BlackBerry.
You still have a
yes.
BP? Oh, wow.
I still have my BlackBerry. So I said I used to see somebody on BlackBerry that wants to vie for president, and I used to see him with Nigeria and all that. She said, yes, that's the person. I said, what about him? She said, he wants you to deputize him. What did you say? She said, he wants you to
be his deputy.
Be his deputy. I said, me, Khadijah, be a vice presidential candidate. How? I'm not in politics now. She said, no. You don't have to be in politics. He was not in politics. He too is a technocrat like you. I said, okay. Kauta, please leave me alone. I'm very tired. We just had our first summit, which was like a few days after that call. in women community in Africa. So I told her, please leave me alone. Tell her, this is like story. She said, I'm serious, Khadijah. He saw the work you're doing with SI Magazine, and he thinks that you are very passionate about Nigeria, and he thinks that you guys can work together. I said, tell her, please, I'm tired. I'm not in politics. I'm not interested. And I hold it up. And she called me and she said, Khadijah, would you at least think about it? I said, I'll think about it, but I'll also think about another person that I can send to you people.
Substitutes.
Yes, substitute, but I don't think I'm interested in politics. And she said, just do istihara. What istihara is the prayer you pray when you are seeking for guidance, a special prayer that she said, do your thing, do your istihara. And I'm like, okay. Then I did. 2 days later, she called me back. But that day, when she left, I called my husband. He was downstairs here and I was upstairs. I was about to go to bed. And I said, sir. I called him sir. I said, sir, you hear waiting at the here? He said, what? And I told him. He was standing. And then he sat on the bed, perched on the bed. He said, Vice President. Where is this coming from? I said, I don't know. And I don't even know this person. Cut long story short, there was a process to it. At the end of the day, what they did differently that impressed me was they called my husband, had a conversation with him. They came all the way from Lagos, the ENN till, and had a conversation with my husband, gave him the form because I was not yielding, and asked him to make me sign. And he brought it. He said, Madam, sign. Are you the only northerner in Nigeria that they didn't approach the others with? There's always a reason for this thing. It's just sign. And I did. And that was how my journey started. Because of that journey, in 2021, 22, the youth, because one of the things I do is working with the youth. The youth now called me in Niger State back. Madam, you need to come out. We're tired of these politicians. We need people with your kind of background and the kinds of work you have done. That one, my husband was not too fully, he wasn't too into it. And because one of his friends was vying for the same position. And he didn't want to. I understood why he was doing that. They are very close friends. And at the end of the day, we went to Umrah to do all our istiara, pray about it and everything, because the pressure was mounting, was huge pressure. Then there in that Umrah, his friend called him. His friend called him and told him that I cannot buy for this thing again because they are asking us to pay a very crazy amount of money, and I don't have that money.
I have always wondered, I've never done anything politics, and ask me if I want to do it, and I'll tell you, no, I'm a new girl, and I want to stay that way. What were your experiences like?
It was, I think, bittersweet.
So.
Yes, bittersweet. Bitter because it exposed me to a lot of backstabbing within and outside the family. It exposed me to the real nature of human beings. The dangerous aspect of it was it was the time that there was a lot of banditry in Niger State, and we're exposed to a lot of danger. Another bitter part of it is that some people actually went behind our back to stop the funding that we're supposed to get.
Oh, really?
Yes, so that we don't get. They know that, okay, we have the capacity, we have the competence, and we have the character to actually win. But because the only thing we were struggling with at that time was minimum. And they stopped it. And the sweet part of it is that it motivated a lot of women. And you could see the proof of concept now in Niger State, where you see more women are coming out. And one of the things that we observed is that when we're going to these communities, we went to 22 local government out of 25. But if you want to be in politics, you need to know the people. You need to feel them. You need to understand them. You need to know where are the loopholes that you want to fill in the gaps. Sure. If you are not ready to go and meet the people and have a one-on-one with them, you're not ready. Sitting down and hearing them, understanding where their needs are the most important. And that was what we did. And I think that's the sweet part of it, because it made me, my mom was telling me one day, when one night, where around 1 a.m.
You were still doing politics?
Yes, 2 a.m. we're in one community or the other. My mom called me. She said, where are you? She never slept throughout that. Right. She said, where are you? I said, we're just about to get into Mina at that time. And the roads were terrible. And she said, you have been to places that we never thought we'd go to in Niger State. Like, we went to each of these communities and then we were, and she said, I'm sure that one of the reasons for you to go to enter this politics is for you to understand the depth of the poverty and the issues that our people have. I pray that God make it easy. There are places we went to, and with time, because of this interaction, they became our spokesperson. They became our security. There was one time we went to one place called Bangi. That's like the end of the world in Niger State. I don't think politicians go.
Bangi, there's another place, Angia. So
yes, this Bangi is in the Zone C area. There were bandits waiting for us. They heard that we came into the community. The community people whom we have established as trust equity were able to tell us, don't pass this road. Like they want to attack you guys. So we had to change.
Having gone through all that, the sweets, the bitter, the sour, and all of that, and the risk of your life, would you want to give it a shot again?
I shiver. I don't know, really. I really don't know. I've been asked this question since the beginning of this year.
Okay. Yeah. And then you just mentioned one of the things I know, because I've heard a lot of people say that in many states against the female gender, by from getting to the actual position they would want to be. This dispensation will have very little number representing us in the House, and yeah, we'll move from there to here.
3.7%. Sad is that this small line.
No, we're going to get better. Don't worry. I think we've cried enough about it. That's me. We're projecting. I don't know. But what are the other things we can, do to enhance our chances based on your experience?
I think that how you can get more women there is number one. I mentioned it. Women are sure that their conduit of support is solid. There was this book I was reading about the Emily's List. And they have an Emily's List in the United States. The reason why we have more women, I think about 2019 or 2018, the women became angry in the United States. And a lot of them out of that anger of, I want to solve this issue, I want to solve these issues, more women came out and more women were able to get in. Why? Because this Emily's support provided, Emily's organization, I think, provided mentorship, provided sponsors. They didn't have to worry about money. They provided sponsors to help them, provided them with the strategies that they can employ, provided them with all the things that the support system, the holding of the hands for women. Women need that. And I keep telling people that if you are really authentic about women joining politics, the women must be ready. I don't think the women are ready.
Winners. Oh, okay. That's a big one. I just had this like off in my hair. No, talking about this again, I like the fact that your husband was a big pillar
and the respect was done to him and for him, and he reciprocated, giving his support.
But I think that women who are in politics, we should give them a pat on the back.
Sure.
For even venturing out to fight for what they believe in. I feel that when women go into politics, they don't go into politics for the trivial things. There are maybe a few percentage that go in there for some trivialities about them or something. But a lot of them who go into politics are truly genuine about why they go into politics. Why? And the thing is, we need more women.
All right, let's talk about SI a little bit. Your writing skills. I know you're also a publisher. I know that's where I just mentioned that you give SI a relief, like, I'm back home.
Yes, I'm back home. Yes, that's my anchor. So I started writing professionally in 2006 with the leadership newspapers called the Searching Inward column. And what we're talking about basically was, we're talking about human angle stories, like what you and I were talking about before the camera started rolling, about our positions as mothers, as wives, as individuals in the community. We were talking about, you saw diversity, you saw a Titi, you saw an Obinla. Those are the things I talk about, because I grew up in Lagos. My early years were in Lagos. I didn't see anybody with ethnicity. I see you as a human being. I don't care where you come from, as long as we can all sit down and do the work together. So those are things I used to talk about. We talk about in SI Magazine. And when we saw that we've been talking about it for a long time, I think how SI Magazine started was that curious. We found out that a lot of people are not getting the message the way we wanted them to get it. Now we formed a group called the SI Social Ambassadors, which is called the SISA. We have a partnership with NYC. What we did was we created a curriculum for 9 months. We felt that 9 months is very significant in the life of everything.
Sure.
9 months is where you conceive, birth, and nurture a child to grow. We felt that, let's have
some of us take 10 months, but go ahead.
So we had a 9-month program where we will train the youth on 3 thematic areas, which is leadership, volunteerism, and patriotism. And we expanded it to health, to climate change, to every other thing. In that 9 months, you're going to get lectures for each of these things. And when you get lectures for each of the stages, you do a capstone project. When I was writing in SI, I felt that enough talking. I was worried about the poverty in the North. I felt that there was need for financial literacy from the cradle. There was need for us to begin to empower women, because I feel that a lot of times we have impoverishment as our mentality. How do we move from that to the next? So that was how Beyond Mentors Community Care Initiatives was birthed. In Beyond Mentors Community Care Initiative, we have pillars. One pillar is that of the rags to riches, which we are grooming the children from secondary school. Another pillar is the advocacy called Women Community in Africa, where we have a coalition of women, NGOs and CSOs today from all over Nigeria and even in Africa. And the last pillar is the socioeconomic aspect of it, where that's for Beyond Mentors, where we empower women. That's what I was telling you about Madam Achu. You see my farm, because of what she did with these women in the communities. By teaching them sack farming, because a lot of them said they couldn't go into their farms because of the banditry and the attacks. So she taught them how to farm in their sacks. And I said, okay, me too, ma, come and help me. This is my farmer big sister that taught me how to put all these things together. And they are growing very well. And then I have
You started your own farm?
I started my own farm.
Oh, wow. I'll go and look at it.
Yes. So I started my own farm there. And we have over 100 bags of yams and cocoyam and all of that and some other things behind the house.
And I see beyond agriculture, you have a hobby. You told me about it, picking shrubs and shrubs.
I have plenty of music.
Okay.
And this one, plenty of a thing. This one, I picked them in a place called Ismailia.
A lot of women are attempting to spoil their skin. How do you speak to such people to retain what God has given to them?
I love my color. That's number one. I love my color.
So proud of it.
I'm very proud of it. So recently, I heard one of my children telling his cousin that when they were growing up, they used to bully them about their color. Yes, that you is black. And I had that same experience growing up in Lagos. They'll call you Dudu or Sho or they'll call you
Is it Dudu Shola?
or they'll tell you Etito Sora because I have very large ears. Etito Sora, they'll drag my ears. And I know that my children will go through that. So they said that mommy, when we're growing up, they used to abuse us for our color and all of that. And now we are the ones reigning. And when we're growing up, you gave us that confidence that black is beautiful.
Sure.
And it's special. If you don't buy black in the market, you can buy light in the market.
No, I have my life where I'll buy it. Yes. The original ones are not bought.
So yes, and I also invest a lot in natural things. I also invest in, I'm very careful about the food I eat.
That's it.
Because I feel our food is supposed to be like a medicine and a rejuvenator for everything that we're losing.
You mentioned your children, and it quickly struck me that, with all that you do, you still need a balanced home. The fact that you actually talk with them freely and they tell you who is bullying and what they're bullying them about, it's a good one, but it takes you consciously making effort. How do you make this conscious effort to ensure that your family is not left behind in your quest for success as a career person?
I think it's priorities. At some point in your life, there's a priority. At some point, as you progress. So I'm very lucky that I married early. And I feel that gave me, I was able to learn my children and they learned me. I learned from them, they learned from me. We grew up together and we were able to, I was able to, at that time, my priorities were just my children. I didn't, nothing else. It was just children, family, husband, cooking. I loved to cook before that. Not kidding. I would not anymore. I still cook once in a while, but not the way I used to. So priorities, there were times that during that time, I think my goal that time was to give them the most beautiful childhood. So what I didn't realize that I was giving them a good childhood until one day somebody was telling, one of the sons was telling it when I had the best childhood. That gave me so much joy. And what we did was we invested in family, ensured that, okay, we used to have this thing called morning breakfast on Sundays. We all come together and eat together. Even the ones, so in this house before, were like 30 of us.
Oh.
So I had my nephews, my cousins, all of us living together. And now they're all gone. After prayers in the morning, we used to sit down and do this thing called Talim wa Zikri. These are things that make you know them. When you Talim wa Zikri means sitting down with your children and you're reading some of the spiritual books that you have. I was trying to teach them how I know Islam.
How do you do that? You dance. Oh, wow, sleep. That's actually a beautiful way to relax.
I sleep. Like if you tell me to lie down on this bed in less than 2 minutes, I'm gone.
I'm not going to tell you to lie down.
I sleep, I dance. I love that.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Every day I get exposed to new things and I learn with joy. I like your gap tip.
Thank you. I'm purple.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. And I'm not saying that you should contest, but then I look forward to having you again.
Thank you.
And I'll really root for you for real.
Well, thank you.
The show has been wonderful, if you agree with me, and we've learned a whole lot. I don't know where to start, but if you've been with us from beginning to end, there is so much for you to take home. And it's been wonderful speaking with a beautiful, amiable Black African queen. Thank you.
Takes one to know.
Dr. Khadijah Abdullahi.
Yeah, that is my husband's title.
Okay, so I'm going back to your husband.